They harden in response to physical trauma. You can't hurt me, Jack. What did I just say?
Hi everybody, how's it this morning, afternoon, evening, and night? Just wanted to create this video for you guys just because I wanted to try out the Samsung 990 Pro NVMe SSD just out of curiosity. And of course I am fully aware about this issue since it came out back in late 2022 to what I remember. And probably towards like right now is doing a lot more better to what I heard and read some articles, looked everywhere else, see what's going on and all kinds of factors. Eventually I was able to find out about it since like January 2023, and I thought to myself, okay, I should probably find out more information about it. And then eventually found out it was on sale. I got it for about $280 at least. So I was like, okay, seems like a good deal. Decided to get it, had it on the shelf for a while, decided to dust it out and probably try it out for myself too, just out of curiosity. And of course what I plan to do in this video is that I'm going to most definitely going to try and of course to obviously format as well as update the SSD with the firmware, as most people would suggest, just to avoid any like brick in the SSD, as well as avoiding any like errors, as well as any other issues too, especially the temperature too, got to watch out for, as well as getting like a heatsink for it just in case, like a third party specifically. And then once I got that done, I plan to play it on the PC games as well as the PS5 games as well as checking the temperature again just to make sure, which since I have a digital thermometer just to keep track of it whatsoever. And then eventually later in the video I plan to probably compare it with the 980 Pro just out of curiosity, which I'm also gonna check the firmware, if there's any firmware updates for the 980 Pro SSD, and maybe try to play like a few PC games and PS5 games on the 980 Pro as well, just out of curiosity. And yeah, see where it goes. So without further ado, we are going to try to connect the 990 to the computer. Okay, I was able to connect it properly because as I was trying to like connect it to my computer, it kind of was a little bit like not properly connected, so I did have to backtrack a little bit here and there just to refit the NVMe SSD into the SSD enclosure properly, making sure everything's connected properly. And yeah, so it's connected right now. So now we should be able to go to disk management. That's what I plan to do, or basically create and format hard disk proportions. It should have like, okay, there we go. So I recognize the stuff there. And I think I'll probably make it as MBR. So I want to make it into like the NTFS format. That's what I was planning to do. So it's disk 3 over here. That's the 990 Pro right there. So I want to make a volume out of it too. Simple volume, which will probably just like, you know, format the stuff. Match the thing. Maximum. Simple. Yep, cool. I'll probably just make it like maybe A wouldn't hurt. Whatever drive letter you want to pick, either one. And yes, we want NTFS just in case, so that we can connect the computers and stuff. And we're gonna name this as Samsung 990 Pro, 2 terabyte. And yeah, I could even do like quick format as well, so it's a lot faster. Just double check to make sure. And TFS. Okay, we're good. Alright, fantastic. Very good. And yes, finish. Once we get that done, formatted, fantastic. It's all nice and connected. Let me just check over here. Nice and formatted, just like that. Perfect. And of course, in case you're wondering what the other ones are, so this is my SATA SSD, another NVMe SSD. I use it for my PC, and as well as like my hard drive disk really old stuff, so not a big deal. It's a 3 terabytes for extra storage and stuff like that and whatsoever. So now that we got that done, and we're gonna go to Crystal Disk just to check on it, just to make sure. So check on it just to make sure. Check on the temperature, read speed, all kinds of factors, and yeah. You know, check on the temperature, and so far is good. 100% good. As well as that stuff too. So 33 Celsius, that's fine. So now that we got that done, before we try to like jump on the PS5, I'm gonna try to make sure to go to Samsung edition, like people suggested. So I'm gonna go to the app, as people recommended, if it can freaking load. It's taking a sweet, glorious time. Okay, since I was able to check the SSD on the temperature and write speed and stuff like that, I kind of did went out of my way to pretty much get like an update for the Samsung edition software, just to make sure everything's up to date, as well as going out of my way to get a firmware ISO file for the 990 Pro, just to make sure, which I did went out of my way to restart my computer just in case after I install the Samsung edition. And I'm gonna try to see if I can get to the Samsung edition right now. Is right at the bottom right corner, it says the firmware is ready, and probably hopefully it works. Hopefully, see what happens. Okay, it's updating. Okay, it kind of gave me that failure stuff. That's weird. Let me see. That's everything there. So let me try again to see if I can try to update it. It's kind of a little strange how it's not letting me do that. It's very odd. It's supposed to update. Okay, there we go, much better. There's like a bit of a tiny little bit delay, because you'll see like a little message over there. So it'll probably shut down my computer. So I'm gonna try and let it do what it's gotta do, and then yeah, and jump back into it. Yeah, okay, we're back. I just went on my way to double check on it off camera, and ultimately I'm gonna try to double check again so you guys know ahead of time. So pretty much I kind of got it like this for the read and write speed. Drive health is good. All kinds of factors, temperature. So I'm gonna probably most likely going to check everything else as well. Firmware's up to date, so I think we're good. Fantastic. and I'm going to most likely going to check the benchmark once again, which once again I was able to do it off camera. I just wanted to double check again on camera this time and let it run. Alright, so the benchmark is done. So it's showing me that kind of reading right there. Okay. Just making sure. Let me also try to double check on the diagnosis scan, which once again I was pretty much just checking these things off camera. So I wanted to double check again on camera this time, just to make sure everything's working okay. Even checking the read and write speed and everything else too. So I was double checking to make sure. Okay, it's good, fantastic. All right. So let me also make sure I check on the crystal disk info in case there's more information. So we want to look for yeah, this one, 990 Pro. Okay. Let me just try to compare it with the benchmark here, just to be certain, because it might be a little bit off there. Oh wait, hold on. Let me drag on the side here. Here we go. Get a little better view here. So on crystal disk info, it's showing me 439 gigs on read speed, and then about the host 181 gigabytes. Okay, I just wanted to make sure just in case. All right, so just wanted to double check to make sure everything's working okay, and checking on the SSD drive itself. So since I got that done, I'm gonna try and see if I could probably power off my PC, as well as turn off the power supply unit for the power switch behind it. So once it's completely off, I take it off the wall outlets, and ultimately I plan to take the 990 Pro SSD out of the motherboard's M.2 slots, and I'm gonna try to test it on the PS5 console, see how it goes, and then once I did a little testing on the PS5 console, maybe play a few games here and there, then I'll probably put it back onto the motherboard again later in the video, and very much try to play a few PC games as well after I did the PS5 stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna make sure to back up my games that's been stored in my 980 Pro, just to make sure, because you know, let's be on the safe side so I don't lose any games here. So what I plan to do is that I'm going to try to see if I can put some of the games in the console storage, and as well as the USB extended storage, which basically the external hard drive, so you guys know ahead of time and whatsoever. And yeah, so I'm going to try and see if I can back up my games at the moment. Alright, okay, so it took a while. Oop. Just double check. Okay, so I was able to move it to the console storage for the games there, and as well as the external hard drive, so we're good to go. So anyway, guys, I can always re-download the games in like the other ones, which is fine. So anyway, so since we got that done, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to try and put the 990 Pro 2TB into the PS5. So let's get to it, shall we? Before I try to turn on the PS5 console, I'm gonna try and take out the 980 Pro SSD out of this one, and then try to swap it with the 990 just to make sure. So I'm gonna try to take it out of there. Just want to make sure to take both sides off just in case, just so it doesn't wobble too much. Okay, let's see if I get my screwdriver ready. And of course, just to keep in mind that this is the Elecgear, by the way, the heatsink that I used in my previous video, so you guys know ahead of time. Let's see if I can try to take it off with a screw here. I tend to use this very often, just to take off stuff. The multi-tool screwdriver. should be good. Fantastic. Alrighty. Let me see if I can take out the 980 out of there, just to make sure. Closer look over here. There we go. I'm gonna keep these as well. Okay. Because I am going to swap it out soon, eventually, and yeah. Okay. All right, that's done. So we get a little closer here. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna take this out, which I need a screwdriver here. I had to change it a bit. Okay. And of course, I have to mention you guys, so you guys know ahead of time, I did ended up getting myself a substitute for that particular screw in the M.2 SSD. So I went out of my way to get it from Amazon to replace it. So I'm gonna make like a short little explanation what happened. So to keep the long story short, basically this black screw over here, it used to belong over here. Guys, I did have like general concerns that that this part that I chopped off a little bit, it kind of made like the SSD stuck there for a while. So without the standoff and stuff like that, but I did have to ultimately had to use power tools to most definitely cut it out there. And then ultimately I decided to try it. I had to end up using these particular computer screws eventually, which most of the time is usually used for the computer case, but I ended up using this as a substitute majority of the time until I'm able to get a replacement for the black screw. So it's probably this one over here, so you guys can see for yourselves. So this is the substitute for the old one. So this one here, new one, old one. Which I'll still keep the old one as a reference so you guys know ahead of time. Which I'll also put more information in the description and pin comments. So we're gonna change out the 980 out of there and put in the 990. Get it out of there. Okay. So that's done. And of course oh, almost fell over there. Of course, this is the standoff here. Well, the EVA foam pad that came with the Elgato, the Elecgear heatsink. So I'm gonna try to put in the 990 in there, but I'll still leave this one here to be fair, just to balance it, because just to make sure that that lines up with the standoff. This one over here, and yeah, that's the reason why. So I'm gonna try and put that in there. Okay, it's in place. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put in a new screw just in case, so I can replace the old one there. All right. Just make sure I just fit it in there properly. Okay, all right. Just want to make sure the connector is connecting to the other end of the M.2 slot. So this is the reason why I ended up just trying to revisit this issue, because you know, a lot of feedback, and I thought, you know what, I might as well take the time to do so. Okay, and I put in the this stuff in here, thermal pads. I mean the yeah, thermal pads. Yeah, I thought I mispronounced it there. So I can put back the heatsink in there. So cool it off. And the
this one too. Let me just make sure I try to put that in there. Okay. Get that in there. Okay. Oh, it's a little squirrely here. Just trying to make the best out of it here. Okay, there we go. I was trying to be a little gentle with the thermal pads, even though it's a little bit crumpled, but still. Okay. Okay, it's good. Oh, it's a little bit loose, but okay. All right, so that's done. Now to put back the cover. I was trying to fit it in there properly. Hold on. Okay, there you go. Much better. It's a little bit off right there. Now to screw it back in. So it's nice and secure. And I do also have to mention that I do also have the Sabrent heatsink as well, which I made in my previous videos from before. These two are really good heat sinks for the PS5 console. Really good stuff. But you can get these very easily from Amazon and stuff like that, and so forth. So yeah. So anyway, let me just put that in there. And also, I do have to mention that I will also be using the digital thermometer just to keep track of the 990 and stuff like that. And yeah. Of course, I'm going to connect it to this plug, of course, so you guys know at a time, as I keep track of the Celsius and stuff like that, and so on. And yeah, cool. I'm going to put back the cover. Cover. Alrighty. Now for the other side. I'm just flipping it around here. Okay. Right, and then this one here too. I just usually just try to make it vertical. Horizontal, just because of the airflow and stuff like that. And yeah. All right, 990's in the SSD. I'm going to slot in the PS5 console. Now I'm gonna try and see if I could check out the read speed, and probably try a few games as well.
All right, since we're able to put the 990 Pro SSD in there. And of course, it's going to tell us on the screen that if I wanted to format it, which I want to say yes. That's what I want to do, because I wanted to make sure to check on the read speed, see what's going on with it. Because since I already updated the firmware with it, so yeah. So it looks like it's at 6,557 megabytes. So okay, that's cool. So basically about like 6.5 gigabytes of read speed, so that's good. So it kind of does have, in fact, have similar numbers as the FireCode of 530, so that's pretty cool. Nice. So since we got that done, so let me get to the storage. It should be right there. Perfect. All right. All right. Fantastic. Okay, good. So that now that we got that done, what I plan to do is that I might try to play a few a few games on there, probably PS5 games most likely, just to test it out. Which I will also include the digital thermometer just to check on the temperature of it, just to be on the safe side and so forth. So we're gonna try out a few games.
We did.
Greetings, wayfarers.
Hey, it's the monks! We found the rift to their dimension and gauge is sealed. If you hold them all. We're on it! Holy. You said it, pal! We gotta keep them away from the monks!
If it means we will never have to see a bone goon again, I am happy to assist.
Another raider to the left. Behind you! Go!
I'll be your friend. Fuck you waiting for? Keep cutting. Sit tight. Coming for ya. Go in, keep her occupied.
Helldiver, you are moving outside the mission area.
Say hello to democracy! Calling in reinforcements!
Request approved. Reinforcements on the way. Request approved. Reinforcements on the way.
Just before I reach towards the end of the video, I probably wanted to try out the 980 just to make sure, just to keep it up to date. See if there's any updates for it. Okay. Temperature is fine. Da-da-da. Okay, it's up to date. Okay, cool. How about the update here? Alright, it's fine. Okay, just making sure. So everything's up to date. That's fine. So let me check the everything else too. It's kind of weird, but okay. I'll try standard. So I think we're okay. Yeah, it seems alright. Okay. Just want to double check on it. So I guess there's nothing much to it. So let me check on the crystal disk, or this mark at least. I should check on it. And maybe the other stuff too. Just to make sure if I'm not missing anything else too. Okay. So health is good. Temperature is 40 Celsius. So let me check the crystal disk mark. And run the stuff anyway, because if the Samsung edition is not going to work, then I'll try other ways to check on it. On temperature and everything else too. Just to make sure. For the read and write speed and everything else. Give it some time to do that. Okay, so it passed through the, well, it's checking the read and write speed, so I guess it's like around a little bit under 5 gigs of the read speed, and as well as under 4 gigs of write speed. I mean, read and write speed. Okay, I see. So I was waiting for it to finish, and then it just kept showing me that kind of stuff, because I was trying to see if I could get it to work on the Samsung edition. So I thought, okay, since like it's not showing the benchmark and stuff and anything else, so I figured, okay, Here's the disk info. Just try to double check on it, refreshing it, even though the temperature kind of jumped a little bit, because I kind of decided to try to put like an extra thermal pad just to make sure, just to sandwich it a bit, just to cool it down some more, as well as checking on this one too. So okay, good to know. So I was just trying to double check to make sure that I get the reading correctly, if it's correct, that is, because sometimes I might be like jumping back and forth between like 1,000 marks, 10,000 mark. I'm like, okay, something's a little off there, so I kind of double check everything. So I guess it's working all right. So anywho, I'm gonna try and see if I could try to play maybe a few PC games on it, and then eventually I'll jump back into the PS5 games as well with it, as well as as well as on the PS5 console as well, just in case, and etc. And then eventually, heading towards the end of the video, I will ultimately check on the 990 Pro SSD like one last time to just double check with the Samsung edition, as well as the crystal disk info and this mark as well, just to double check on the read and write speed, just so I'm not missing anything else. So we're gonna try a few PC games on the 980 Pro, so let's try to test it out.
Come on, let's see that pretty.
Shit! Watch out! Trouble's lurking!
What?
Right flank, crossfire! Five rod! Don't let them hit you! Bifrost on your left!
Okay, we're almost near the end of the video, just to let you guys know at a time. Which I wanted to check on the SSD of the 990 Pro just to make sure, because I had a certain feeling something about the read and write speed didn't seem right to me. At some point in time, I had to end up backtracking as often as I can, however I could, because I had this suspicious feeling that something about these readings were very off at the beginning of the video and as well as midway through it. So I thought to myself, you know what, I'm gonna actually take the time and effort to check on it one last time, which I did. Went out of my way to check on it off camera, just so I'm not being like, you know, delusional or anything, just to be certain. Which I'm gonna probably check on the Samsung edition again, as well as the crystal disk info. Oh, there we go. So the stuff is right there. So okay, cool. Just make sure I got like the proper letter drive there. And yeah, so I'm gonna try and check on them right now. Alrighty, so was able to check on it, and so far it's a lot more up to date. Because I did have to ultimately refresh a bit more, making sure everything's working okay, checking the temperature. So it's around like at 46 Celsius on that one, 47 on the, hold on, let me just move this, 47 Celsius on the Samsung edition, and the list goes on, etc. So I did want to make sure just to check on the read and write speed, the temperature, making sure everything's working okay, as well as the drive health of the SSD as well. So I do have to admit, overall, it's surprisingly a really very good NVMe SSD, even though despite the moments where I did have like general concerns about the firmware, the original firmware that it has whatsoever, that people were complaining about and stuff like that. But once I was able to use like the latest firmware, it was like working pretty well. It's stabilized all kinds of factors and etc. Yes, of course I had to put up with like the hassle of just trying to use like the SSD enclosure, which I treated like a USB storage device as an example and stuff like that. Because I was trying to see if I could try to like, you know, to format it and then try to update it with the Samsung edition, but unfortunately it couldn't recognize it for the Samsung SSD because due to the fact that the firmware for it couldn't recognize it. So I had to troubleshoot, had to do some backtracking, had to go from like this and try to use like a PC heatsink, just attach it to the motherboard on the M.2 slot, the second slot by the way. It was a piece of work. I was able to do so, and then eventually I had to go from like taking it out of the motherboard, put it on the PS5 and stuff like that, etc. Which it works pretty well with the PS5 surprisingly, so it's pretty good. And then eventually I just compared it with the 980 Pro, which is pretty good too, but with the 990 is a lot more improved at least and stuff like that. And yeah, and I still have it in my computer right now, the 990, which I decided to use as like a extra storage in case I need to, you know, store my games, as well as like store my videos in case I need to make some more and stuff like that and so forth. So yeah, so I like the 990 Pro SSD, which again, I was kind of like a little skeptical at the beginning about it because I wasn't sure it was going to work properly and stuff like that. So once I was able to look around, get some more information about it, and I was good to go. So it's pretty good stuff. So I do have to say, this is probably the end of the video, which I'd like to thank you all so much for watching this video. And of course I will put more information on the description and the pinned comments so you guys can see for yourselves on what kind of videos, as well as like forums and everywhere else that is related to the 990 Pro, so you guys know at the time, etc. So I hope everybody has a very great morning, afternoon, evening, and night, as well as staying safe. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.